G'day y'all. Today I've worn my best sleeveless top and my favorite gold hoops for this special occasion where I am smelling and reviewing Teriyaq by Lattafa. Now, if you live under a rock, which glad to have you back, Patrick, the perfumer for Teriyaq is Quentin Biche. Quentin Biche is a very well-known perfumer in the industry. He's made a lot of popular fragrances. I mean, some of his best ones that you might know, Delina by Parfums de Marly. He's made La Belle and Le Beau and many of their flankers by Jean Paul Gaultier. He's made Guidance by Amouage. He's made Wanted by Night by Azzaro. Angel Nova, one of my personal favorites. This is just to name a few. With that being said, I think when he took on a fragrance for Lattafa, everyone kind of gasped because I think now the pressure is really on these designers to step up their game because we are really now starting to get these Middle Eastern brands step up from, I mean, they have a lot of their own original scents, but they're stepping up from clones, making a name for themselves amongst a lot of these really popular designers and niche brands. Honestly, I think these designers should be nervous because, at least for me in Australia, scents like these are way cheaper and they smell just as good, if not better sometimes, and the performance is almost always better. So I would be nervous. So anyway, you're not here to hear my spiel about this. I could get into that rant all day. I want to smell this and rip this open because my dopamine cannot wait any longer. So let's open it. Unboxing time. Oh, it seems to be a slide out unit carton. I can't get it out. All right, here is the box. Here's the box. Is that working? Let's open it up. Oh God, this bottle, the bottle itself is something else. Gorgeous, beautiful. Presentation, A+ as always from Lattafa. With their more expensive scents at least, they're not all like this, but a lot of their new ones are always packaged very well. Very beautiful. This is like, I would be more than happy to have this on my nightstand. Very beautiful, very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Love this snake up here, that's so cool. Very beautiful bottle. All right, before we spray this, let's talk about the notes. In the initial spray, you've got pink pepper, caramel, bitter almond, and apricot. In the heart, you've got white flowers, rose, rhubarb, and honey. And then the dry down, you've got vanilla, musk, vetiver, labdanum, and leather. Now, I'm not going to bother spraying on paper. I'm just going to spray it straight on skin. We're not doing a comparison or anything. Here we go. Okay. Blast of pink pepper and bitter almond. I'm getting the caramel. It's not too fruity. Mainly what I'm smelling is the pink pepper and the bitter almond. Those are really at the forefront. There is a little bit of a creamy powderiness from the caramel and a little bit of sweetness, but the sweetness is very, very much in the background. I am getting a vanilla, but it's airy. It's not a heavy vanilla. Although the leather facet in here does feel quite grounding. It's quite dense. It's a little more spicy than I was expecting. I mean, I don't really know what I was expecting. You know what? I am picking up the honey in the heart and it's beautiful. I love it's the combination of the honey and the bitter almond in here is like, it's doing it for me. This one's kind of hard for me because I am not a huge fan of pink pepper. If you guys watch my channel, you know that. I don't mind it in here. I wish it wasn't so forward. I wish it was a little bit softer at the top, but obviously, on the dry down, that could change. Overall, it's a bright vanilla, slightly spicy almond. The floral bouquet is not really standing out to me. It's mainly that honey note that I'm picking up. I will say, if you love pink pepper, you will love this because that note is sticking around. It's a very aromatic, clear, clean pink pepper. I feel like the pink pepper in here has got a great depth to it. It's not just like a sharp spice that's in your face and kind of hits the nose in a weird way. It's a very girthy pink pepper. If you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to describe. I think you guys understand. Okay, I'm going to spray this all over me. Okay, now that I'm spraying it more, I am picking up that apricot, but it's mainly a almond pink pepper with honey and some vanilla in the background. Those are like the main notes that I'm picking up. What I'm going to do, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to kind of let this dry down and sit on the skin for about an hour or so, because I really want to see how this wears throughout the day. I want to be very thorough with this. So yeah, I will leave it. It is 3:15 at the moment. Before I go, I want to do a spray on a blotter just to see the difference. So I've actually sprayed it on a blotter here. The main difference I get on the blotter, there's a bit more of a fresh apricot note on the paper. I definitely don't get as much sweetness on the skin. That honey is still very forward. The caramel note is not quite as powdery. Definitely still getting a lot of that pink pepper, but just a sweeter experience, not as leathery. On the skin, it's much more leathery and musky. On the paper, it's much brighter and sweeter. Okay. I just wanted to add that in. I know a lot of people maybe prefer to wear their fragrances only on the clothing, maybe not all on skin. I know a lot of you in the Northern Hemisphere aren't necessarily wearing short sleeves at the moment, so maybe you're spraying it a lot on long sleeve tops and blouses, so I just wanted to add that in here.
1 hour later.
Okay guys, so it's been a little over an hour now. It's 4:19 now. And I couldn't help myself. I did look at what some other people were saying about this because I was very confused seeing what other people were saying, that it's very sweet and it's just not what I'm getting on the dry down. So on the dry down of the scent, I'm getting a very honeyed leather, like a very animalic honeyed leather. It's still quite light. It's not like a deep leather. It's still pretty light and airy. I'm getting a little bit of the vanilla as well, but I'm not getting really any sweetness. And it's so interesting because when I smell the paper, now this is the paper that I had sprayed on earlier, the paper is still quite sweet. So I have a feeling that on clothing, this is going to wear a lot differently than on skin. Oh, I actually don't even smell it on my clothing anymore. But I think it's worth mentioning, you guys. I don't know what the variation of time frames of when these were bottled, but mine was bottled in January 2024. So it could be less than a month that this has actually been bottled. So it hasn't had a chance to age or anything like that. And I'm thinking maybe that could be cause of variation in what a lot of people are smelling right out of the box. I don't know how long ago some of these batches were bottled. So considering that this was so freshly made, potentially less than a month ago, I'm hesitant to give my final thoughts on this because I'm really wanting to see if the sweetness or the vanilla element or anything like that deepens with age. So I mean, listen, I will say I very much enjoy the dry down a lot more than the initial spray. For me, I'm not someone who loves a super prominent pink pepper note, but once it's drying down, it's a lot softer. It's a lot of a powdery spiciness, and it very well complements the very prominent honey note that I'm getting on the skin as it dries down, very honey leather. So to that end, it is a good fragrance. It's very feminine, it's very light, it's very airy, despite being such a heavy honey and leather dry down. I'm curious what Mr. Zuri will have to say about this one. I might even clip that in here when he gets home in a couple of hours. So listen, it's a good scent. I just don't think I can make my final judgment right now considering how fresh this juice is. So unfortunately, this is another one that's gonna go maybe in perfume jail. Maybe I'll bring it back out in a couple of months or so and just see how it's aging. It's not a bad scent out the box, but I feel like it could be better. And maybe because it's so hyped up, I was expecting a lot more straight out of the box, but I should have expected it's not really any different than a lot of Lattafa fragrances where we need to give them a bit of time, a bit of air, a bit of age to really get the full breadth of what the scent can offer. We'll see. I'll insert a clip here of Mr. Zuri when he gets home and get his reaction. Okay, Mr. Zuri is home. He's gonna smell me. He hasn't smelled it yet. So he just got home and he's a stinky, sweaty mess. So who knows what he'll actually smell on me.
Okay. It's quite sweet. I smell like...
So you think it's sweet?
Well, like, there's a...
I'm not gonna interfere.
No, I get
assessment.
what is it? It's like chocolatey? Or like...
There's vanilla in the base. Is that what you're smelling?
No, it's not vanilla. It smells like...
There's caramel.
That might be it.
Yeah, you smell the caramel.
Yeah, I think it's caramel.
So I did respray. It's, what time is it? 5:30?
Yeah.
It's 5:30 now, so I resprayed it, but it's been a couple hours since I last sprayed it.
Yeah, okay.
So this is what it is more like, so you're getting caramel and...
I don't know why, it smells like a certain candy. Like...
Maybe it is just caramel. There's apricot. There is a fruit in there. So there is like sweetness other than the caramel.
Yeah, it just smells like.
So you're picking up more of the sweetness than I did.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when I first sprayed it, it was there's pink pepper in the top. If you just smell the bottle here,
That's very different.
it is very different.
But I can see how it develops into that.
The pink pepper is like very, very strong on the initial spray.
Yeah, that's what pepper is. Yeah, I'm getting just pepper.
I think it's technically unisex, but I would say it's more feminine, don't you
Yeah,
think?
definitely. I would not
Yeah.
personally wear this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very peppery.
Yeah.
on initial spray.
I think that was my assessment. I didn't love the initial spray. I think it's a better dry down. After like 30 minutes to an hour, it was very leathery because there's
Yeah.
leather in the base. And now it's more vanilla, and you're picking up caramel still.
Yeah.
So that's still very
It smells like,
prominent.
for some reason, I want to say like a roasted caramel.
There's bitter
Like-
almond.
Like there's a warmness to it.
Okay. So you find it quite warm.
Yeah, it's an odd smell.
It's an odd smell.
Yeah, like it's
Okay.
not a smell that I'm used to. Like it's that thing
Unique.
Of, yeah, I guess. But
Unique.
it's, like,
Okay.
it's a weird thing of like it's familiar, but it's slightly off. Like I get that caramel smell, and it smells almost like something.
So some people were comparing this to pink sugar. I didn't get pink
No, I
sugar
didn't
out
get
of
that
it.
at all.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Which pink sugar does have caramel, but maybe the pepper, some people are maybe misinterpreting as, because there's licorice. So I think there's a misinterpretation of in the nose of the pink pepper and the licorice. If I could be so.
I ain't gonna doubt you.
Okay. All right. That's his assessment. Out of 5, what would you give it? Or just like a 3? Okay.
3.5. I was gonna say
3.5.
Like it's not for me personally.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not the best thing you've smelled on me recently.
No, and I like it's intriguing, but it's not like I don't know. It doesn't. I wouldn't be like, oh, what are you wearing? I'd be
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. There you go. You heard it here first. I don't know. You heard his thoughts here first because there's nowhere else he shares his thoughts. So, okay. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Zuri. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're curious about an update, I highly suggest that you subscribe. I am due for a massive update, a massive fragrance update on a lot of my Middle Eastern scents. So I know that is on my list, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, please let me know. If you guys have purchased Teriyaki, please let me know when yours was bottled. It's on the bottom here of the little slide out bit on the unit carton. Yeah, let me know when yours was bottled. Are you getting something different than me? I think I was just a little surprised based on what a lot of people are saying. I try to remain as unbiased as possible despite all the hype that I'm seeing. So I am curious what you guys have to say in the comments. Please let me know. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.